Welcome everyone to the Tech Mahindra Global Chess League. We have a big encounter on our hands. The game is between Fabiano Caruana from the Alpine SG Pipers and Vishy Anand from the Ganges Grandmasters. What an encounter this is going to be in the second round of the Tech Mahindra Global Chess League. The arbiter comes in, starts the clock. Fabi opens the game with 1 e4 and Vishy responds back with the solid e5. Knight comes out to f3, knight c6, and now bishop to b5. It's the Ruy Lopez. Bishop comes back to a4, knight to f6, attacking the pawn on e4. White castles. He takes on e4. The open Ruy Lopez is on the board and Fabi pauses for a bit. He thinks about what he should be doing here. b5, bishop b3. The reason this clash is so exciting is because Vishy is one of the best prepared players in the world of chess for many years now. And I think as on today, it might not be a wrong thing to say that Fabi is the best prepared player. So here, who's going to spring the first opening surprise is the big question. Bishop e7 played. And bishop comes back to c2, keeping up some pressure on the knight on e4. Black can castle here, but Vishy goes for this very interesting line with bishop to g4. Now if you play knight to d2, then knight takes d2 already gives black a fine position. So queen e1 is a very nice tweak. The knight goes back. You are okay with the destruction of this structure because f4, f5 comes up. So knight c5, knight d2 played, and now Vishy brings his knight back to e6. We have queen to e2 played, and black castles. They are following the game between MVL, Pragnananda and MVL, and queen d7 played, h3, the first new move of the game. In that game, queen d3 was played. The bishop drops back. There was also a possibility to go knight f4 with very sharp lines, but here knight f1 played. Now we want to get the knight to g3 to break the pin. Vishy gets his bishop to g6, trading off these strong bishops. Let's take stock of the situation here. Black has two nice knights here, but would love to start pushing his pawns forward. Meanwhile, Vishy, he jumps knight a5. He wants to go c5 as we said, but the d5 pawn is a bit of a weakness if you see here. So rook a d1 would be very powerful, and that's what Fabi does. He brings his rook in. He's putting pressure on d5. And now pawn to c5 played, gaining space in the center, controlling all these squares. Knight to g3. Fabi moving ahead on the king side. Vishy playing rook f e8. And now the knight jumps into f5. If you take the knight, this would be definitely an improvement of the situation for white. So rook comes to d8 and g4. Fabi says, I have a pawn on e5. I must go on the attack. Knight comes back to c6. Maybe now just dropping the bishop back could be a good idea. But he goes for some tactics. Bishop e4. This is an error. But Vishy goes passive with knight c7. He should have gone knight d4, because if pawn takes, this is hanging. The pin is broken. That was a very nice tactic that was available there. But he went knight to c7, and now Fabi goes bishop f4. I love this move, because what Fabi is doing now is after bishop f8, he brings his bishop back, and it might seem like we are reaching the same position like before. Knight goes to e6, attacking the bishop. Bishop g3, and it's a huge upgrade to have the bishop here on g3. But Vishy pushes his pawn into the heart of white's camp. Bishop comes out on e4. And now queen goes back. The reason why the bishop on g3 is very good is because the knight can settle in on d6. Queen c2 played. The queen and bishop form a battery here, and Vishy takes on c3. It's been a very closely fought game, and in fact the position is roundabout even for both sides. 6 minutes for Vishy, 5 minutes for Fabi. Takes here, rook takes d8, and now pawn takes c3. He goes c4. Maybe queen d7 was a better try, but okay, the d file looked a bit blocked there. h4 played, and Vishy goes h5. Caruana takes on h5, and now bishop takes h5 taken. The knight jumps in, and this is a key moment in the game. Vishy needs to find the accurate move. He cannot go wrong here. He blunders with queen c7. The best move was queen to d7, and the reason is you keep the knight on e6 protected. You might think, why is it so important? Well, because after bishop h7, king h8, and now queen f5, in case of the best move g6, knight f7, the knight is not hanging now, black is better. But if you go to the same variation where Vishy has played queen c7, Fabi is now winning with bishop h7 check. He finds it, and the difference being now you enter in with queen f5, finds it, attacking f7 and the bishop. It's all over. g6 played, boom, knight takes f7, king takes h7, and if the queen was here, black was better, but now queen takes e6 happens, and white is winning. Check coming in, the rook is hanging, too many issues. He goes rook d3, and this is all but over. Knight g5 check, and Vishy resigns. It's a mate coming up here. You can see that king g7, queen f6 check is game over after queen h8, and in case of king g8, you have knight h6, king here, king g7, check on g8, and it's also a checkmate here. So very interesting how this game panned out. Queen f5, bishop h7, queen f5 was very well spotted, but if Vishy would have found the move queen d7 here instead of queen c7, he would have been doing very well. The Ganges Grandmasters here did face some difficulty on board 1 because Vishy lost, but in the match they managed to win as Sindarov beat Pragnananda, and we also had Shuvalova beating Hoyifan, Raunak Sadhwani beating Leon Mendonça. So a big win there for the team of Ganges Grandmasters in spite of Vishy losing on the top board.